Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and today we are going to run down a list that came out this week of teams that were picked to go from worst to first in 2026. Okay, we're going to run down that list. We're going to give our opinions on it, talk about the teams, and preferably give somewhat of what expectations are for these teams. Okay, they're not going to be, final predictions or anything like that, because I'll do my final predictions at the end of August before the season kicks off. But we're gonna run down this list and talk about these teams that are expected to go from worst to first in 2026. Okay, we're also going to talk about all the news coming out of the world of football. Before we get into everything, though, make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media, over on TikTok, YouTube, X, and on Instagram at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow. Oh my gosh, let me start this over. Head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media, on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow button over on the YouTube. You're going to hit that subscribe button. That's how you follow on the YouTube. And, of course, on the Twitch channel, you're going to follow as well. All of our social media outlets are in the Twitch bio. You just click on the one you desire to go to, because I know not everybody uses every social media outlet, and help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. So I want to talk about something really quick. I'm scrolling through social media today on TikTok, and I come across a couple videos. Obviously, when people make content, it's stuff that they're interested in. Okay, it's something that they're very highly interested in. For example, you have your Disney streamers. Okay, you have Disney streamers who go to Disney World in LA and out in Florida. I see more Disney streamers from California than I do in Florida. Okay, I do see Disney streamers from Florida, but I see more California streamers than I do in Florida, which is crazy because I'm on the East Coast. So you would think with my location, I would see more of the Florida streamers than I would the California streamers. Now, I've been following a Disney streamer for the past couple of years now. It's been about 2, maybe 3 years that I've been following a Disney streamer. And I watch his lives, but he doesn't only do Disney anymore. He started off doing Disney World streams, and now he travels. Right now he's on a tour, and yesterday he was in Wisconsin. I believe today he's also in Wisconsin as well, because I don't believe he traveled anywhere last night to go somewhere new. I think he's still in Wisconsin today. But anyways, I come across a couple of videos of, things that people are interested in, and that's what content is mainly about. I love football. Football is my number one sport. Baseball is my number 2. This is a football podcast. Okay, I'm creating content for football. John loves football. He's here on the show as well. Cam as well. So the thing is I come across, people's content and everything like that. I came across somebody who came to the U.S., apparently the largest locomotive in the world, came around the U.S., and people gathered to witness this. Now, my dad, my stepdad, but I consider him my dad because he's raised me since wasn't even a year old when he started raising me, basically. I had a relationship with my biological father, who has passed away. As you see in the background there, his little urn sitting back there on my shelf. But my stepdad, I consider him my dad. Anyways, he's into trains. Okay, it's one of his favorite things that he's into. And I'm sure he would have loved to go and witness seeing the largest locomotive travel around the U.S. Anyways, hold on a second. Bad part about being live and when you have dogs, they bark when they hear things. Stop. Sorry. But anyways, somebody traveled from the UK to come to the US to see the largest locomotive because apparently they're into locomotives. And just seeing the hate comments, man, I'm like, really? Like, what is wrong with somebody being into something? What is wrong with people being into things? Like, why as a society do we have to pick on people for having interest just because we don't? For example, Cam and John, they're both into anime. Okay? Now, me, on the other hand, yeah, I like Pokemon. I've loved Pokemon since I was a kid. And some people wouldn't consider that anime. Some people do. And I've even asked John and Cam this. Do you guys consider Pokemon anime? They said yes. They do. That's the only thing I watched as far as anime. Everything else, My Hero Academia, all that stuff, I'm not into it. But since I'm not into it, I'm not going to sit there and make fun of it. I'm not going to sit there and down talk it. I'm not going to sit there and talk crap about it because I'm not into it. Number one. Number two, I'm not educated on it. Right? Why do we have to, as a society, pick on people because they're into something you're not into? Why do we have to do that? Like, I get it. I get, people are, people can be, excuse my language, assholes. But I don't see why we need to do that. Like, if you're not into it, keep scrolling. Why do you feel the need you have to say something? I put videos out every day on the Huddle Hub podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube. And believe me, I get negative comments every day. I've adapted to the fact of just ignoring them. And if it's really bad, they get deleted. I'll be honest about that. I do not keep every comment up there because there's some things that are not suitable. And I know that there are younger viewers on social media. Now, whether we have younger viewers on the Huddle Hub podcast or not, I don't know that stuff. But for my reassurance and knowing, for example, I have a 9-year-old nephew. He's just getting into pro wrestling. I'm trying to help keep him away from the IWC because I know how toxic things can be. Try and keep him away from the negative stuff on the internet with it because I don't want him this early into being a fan to be in the middle of that and reading that stuff. I'm trying to help him love the sport of professional wrestling as did I when I was a kid. Bad enough there's so much stuff on the internet to where we know everything about the business almost. That's stuff I want to keep him away from because I want him to love this thing, to love pro wrestling for what it is and what it's supposed to be and what it can represent and what it can present. I want him to be a fan and be in the healthy part of the fandom to where he can go to school and talk with his friends amongst, as I did. As we're currently sitting, he's playing with one of his friends right now. And they have wrestling action figures outside with them playing. I used to do that all the time, especially in the summertime. I used to have my SummerSlam event outside on my back porch at my old house and make it seem like I was at an outside venue with my action figures. That's what I did. Right? So I want him to deal with that. But why do we have to, as a society, go and pick on people and just be nasty to them because they're into something you're not? It doesn't make sense to me. I said to somebody the other day that as I'm getting older, I turn 40 next week. Next Tuesday is my birthday. And we will be live here. Believe me, we're not taking the day off just because it's my birthday. That's not happening. We will continue to go. I'm not taking the day off. No. But I as I get older, I'm getting more patient with things. But I'm also understanding things a lot better and seeing things a lot clearer when it comes to the negative and the positive of things. And it just disgusts me to see that people can't allow people or let people, I shouldn't say allow, can't let people enjoy what they enjoy because it makes them happy. Now, I know there's, obviously there's bad things out there that people enjoy and consequences and everything like that. But I'm talking about like being into football, being into baseball. My mom watches every Phillies game, every Philly game. She loves baseball. She loves the Phillies. I love the Phillies too, but she watches every baseball, every Phillies game, right? And she gets super excited about things. I mean, every pitch, she's yelling. And sometimes I sit there and say to her, it's early in the season yet. We're not even at the All-Star break. All-Star break is next week. But I don't down talk it. I don't try and take it away from her. I just try and help her calm down a little bit. But I don't see why we have to rip things away from people, or try to at least. I don't get it. Just seeing the excitement on this person's face, being number one in the United States of America, seeing the biggest locomotive in the world, which they love locomotives, the excitement on this person's face was just priceless. And the person has to be at least 10 years younger than me, maybe more. And then just reading the comments, I'm like, why do people have to say stuff? Why can't people just keep those comments to themselves or just move on? Stop being so negative. We need more positivity in this world. We do. And it's just disgusting to read it. I don't understand it. I wish somebody could help me understand that, but it is what it is. It's the world today. It's how it is. And, I guess we got to accept it for what it is. I don't know. Let's get into the news coming out of the world of football. Top story coming out. Former cornerback of the Detroit Lions, Terrion Arnold, cleared waivers on Monday afternoon. He is officially a free agent, and there are a few teams that are interested in signing him. What the teams that are interested in signing him have not been disclosed. He is going to be visiting these teams this week and plans on being signed within the next 30 days. Now, as we know, he's being accused on 8 felony accounts for robbery and kidnapping, which is not good. Not a good thing at all, but it's accusations. He has not been proven guilty. He's not been proven not guilty. He did set a $1 million bond bail last week from his court case, so he is eligible to play in the league. He did not get suspended, nothing like that. He is going to be able to sign with a team and be on the field for the 2026 NFL season as of right now. Okay, so the question is what team goes after him? And I'm sure a lot of people right now, a lot of fans are like, man, I hope it's not my team. Now, this takes me back to, the Michael Vick situation 15 years ago, 15 some odd years ago. Michael Vick obviously went to jail, did some not so good things with dogs, or was involved with some not so good things with dogs. And he did his time, came out, and was eligible to come back to the NFL. And the question was what team would sign him? Philadelphia did. He came to Philadelphia. It was a mess for a while, but it seemed like the city started to accept him. Here's the thing: is obviously Michael Vick was involved in a bad thing, and for some people it's unforgivable. I'm a dog owner. I love dogs, and being a part of something when it comes to harming a dog or any animal at that sense is not a good thing. It's not, and it's unforgivable because a lot of those animals lost their lives and did not deserve to go the way they did. Did not deserve to go at all. Did not live full, healthy lives. Okay? But when it comes to the football side of things, I'm a Michael Vick fan. I am. Now, he's done his time. He's still a voice for dogs. He does go and do events and everything like that. And obviously, throughout the years, he was now eligible to own a small dog. I have Chihuahuas, like a size dog like that. You can't own pit bulls or anything like that. But the thing is, he was found guilty. He went to court, went to jail, served his time, had to do more community service. but he continues doing the community service even though he served all his time. So he's basically trying to make up for the wrongs that he did. And again, some people forgive, some people don't. You know, some people forget, some people don't. All that stuff. Me, I'm a Michael Vick fan as far as it comes to his football career, but it's a little hard to still kind of forgive for what he did, what he was a part of. It is because of being a dog owner and being a dog lover and all that stuff. Like, it's hard. Now, that's not taking away from the human being he is. I'm sure I've never met Michael, never had the opportunity to. I'm sure he's a very nice guy, seems to be like a very nice guy, seems to have a good personality, all that stuff. And would I like to meet him one day? Sure. But it's still in the back of people's minds of, this is what he did in the past. And that's that little piece that it's hard to forgive about. You know, so. But Terrion Arnold is going to be able to play football this year. As of right now. Now, as far as longer court case and stuff like that, we don't know all that information. But I'm sure that stuff we'll find out as the weeks go on here. But as of right now, he's going to be able to sign with a team and play football in 2026. We're going to keep our eye on this story as things progress and come out, and you know, we'll talk about them here on the Huddle Hub podcast. You know, so if he signs with a team by Sunday, we'll talk about it on the Sunday episode of the Huddle Hub podcast. I got a fun show planned for the Sunday episode, actually. So an article came out, and I just got to take some notes on it. We're going to talk about that on Sunday. I got a fun show planned for Sunday already. So, yeah. Free agent cornerback Rasul Douglas. He has signed with the Washington Commanders, 1-year deal worth $3.8 million. Great pickup for the Washington Commanders. Rasul Douglas is a really good cornerback. This is going to help their defensive backfield a little bit because Rasul is a good cornerback. So great addition for the Washington Commanders. The Hall of Fame game date has been announced. August 6th. The Panthers and Cardinals will play in the Hall of Fame preseason game. I mean, that's an exciting time because you got to think we are less than a month away. Yesterday was a month from the Hall of Fame game, from kicking off the 2026 NFL preseason, which is super exciting because you know then you're close. You are close to regular season time. And man, the Panthers and Cardinals, it should be a good Hall of Fame game. We know a lot of backups and practice squad guys are going to be playing. Guys that will be cut the next day will probably be playing. You know, we're really not going to see any starters or anything. So, but still should be a good one to watch, and it's going to feel good to see football again in the NFL because we just finished the UFL championship game was a couple weeks ago, but now we're getting the NFL, and it's super exciting to know that we're that close. Some news came out. I don't know if you guys, I mean, this story was pretty hard to forget. I was about to say, I don't know if you guys remember, but, former defensive end of the Dallas Cowboys, Marshawn Kneeland, obviously passed away during the season last year. Very sad very sad story, with everything that happened. Apparently there was a diagnosis done on his brain, I believe. I didn't get to read the full article, but I'm jumping to the assumption. So don't quote me on this assumption because I did not read the full article, but I just seen the headline of it that he was diagnosed with CTE. Okay. Now I know for some people, I mean, there's been many situations to where CTE was diagnosed after the fact of things. And, you know, just a very sad story with Marshawn Kneeland. And now to find out that he did suffer from CTE at such a young age, that's rough. Very, very rough. And it's very, very sad. And again, condolences go out to his family and friends, anybody who was, you know, in his circle, surrounding him, his teammates, everything. Very, very sad. And I guess finding out this diagnosis kind of shines some light on the situation, gives some answers to why, you know, why things, you know, occurred and all that stuff. I mean, obviously we all know the situation in pro wrestling back in 2007. We're not going to touch on that. I'm not even going to say names or anything like that. look it up, and you'll get your answer. Okay, but yeah, I mean, it's very sad to know that even at a young age he dealt with CTE, and that's why the teams are now allowing players to wear the gravity helmets. Those big bulk things that go over the helmet. That's to protect the head, the brain. And it's great that players are wearing them now. One player that obviously is highly recommended to wear it is Tua Tagovailoa because of how many concussions he suffered, but he doesn't wear it. And it's mind-boggling to know that he's not to protect himself. And some people who are fans of him, I'm a fan of Tua. And I would like to see him succeed in this league. Protect yourself, dude. Wear it. It's not going to get in your way. It's not. It's going to do nothing but protect you. But very sad to hear that such a young age he suffered from this, and it's just rough. And I want to read the rest of the article. I didn't get to read it, but I will be reading that article to see further on this story and see what everything was about. So, last thing about the news, we had some key dates for the upcoming NFL season come out. Actually, for the next basically 365 days, starting off with Tuesday, November 10th. Is the trade deadline. As we know, the trade deadline was pushed back to week 9 because that's halfway through the season. November 10th on Tuesday, November 10th will be the trade deadline. Sunday, February 14th will be Super Bowl 61 from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California. March 1st through the 8th is going to be the scouting combine at Lucas Oil Field in Indianapolis, Indiana. March 9th is when free agency starts. So Tuesday, is that Tuesday or Wednesday? I think Tuesday. I think March 9th is a Tuesday in 2027. Let's look. January, February, March 9th. It's a Tuesday. Okay. Tuesday, March 9th is when free agency opens up and the start of the 2027 league year. March 21st through the 24th is going to be the owners' meetings in Phoenix, Arizona. And then April 29th through May 1st is the 2027 NFL Draft in Washington, D.C. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm already planning of preparations to go to the NFL Draft next year. So we will film content out at the NFL Draft if I'm there. And I believe me, I already have plans of going. So, yeah, I'm saving up some vacation time for that. But those are the important dates for the next 365 days in the NFL. So yeah, that's that. That's it for the news, guys. We're going to get into worst to first after this short commercial break here on the Huddle Hub podcast. We will be back in just a few moments. All right, guys. Make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Podcast over on social media after we get off air here today, over on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Pod. Make sure you're hitting that follow button over on the YouTube. you're hitting that subscribe button. That's how you follow on the YouTube. And of course, over on Twitch, you're going to hit that follow button as well. All of our social media links are in the Twitch bio. Just click on the one you desire to go to, because I know not everybody uses every social media outlet, and help us build the Huddle Up Podcast for the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. Okay, so let's do the worst to first segment. You're going to see the teams on the bottom on this list. 8 teams are on this list. 8. Okay. I'm going to start off with the New Orleans Saints, who finished at 6-11. Or no, we'll start off with the Arizona Cardinals. Sorry. Starting off with the Arizona Cardinals, who started. Let's do this, because I might want to clip this. So we're going to start this over. All right, so let's get into the worst to first teams that were put on a list that are supposed to go from worst to first in 2026. We're going to start off with the Arizona Cardinals, who finished 3-14 last season, last in the NFC West. The only team in the NFC West that did not get into the postseason. Again, Arizona right now, I think at the moment, the biggest position they're hurting in is the quarterback position. Jacoby Brissett, apparently he showed up for practice now. He's there. Wants more money, all this stuff. I mean, here's the thing. The Arizona Cardinals being expected to go from worst to first and being put on this list, I'm kind of questioning, because the NFC West right now, even with the Arizona Cardinals being in it, is one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive division in football right now. Seattle Seahawks, who won the Super Bowl last year, the 49ers, who got beat by the Seahawks in the divisional round, and then you got the Los Angeles Rams, who got beat in the conference championship. Okay. Now the Rams go out, they get Myles Garrett. I mean, they beefed up their team a little bit, and now they're being placed, as the team in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl automatically. And I've been telling people that needs to stop, because there's so many good teams in the NFC. So many good teams that are going to be able to compete with them this year. And I personally don't think the San Francisco 40, the Seattle Seahawks or the Los Angeles Rams are going to win the West. I think the San Francisco 49ers win the West this year. I do. As far as the Arizona Cardinals going from worst to first, not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Again, the NFC West is way too competitive, and I do not think Arizona is going to be able to keep up with any of these teams in the West. If I had to pick one of the teams, if I was being forced to pick a team for them to keep up with, the team I would pick is the Seattle Seahawks. Why? Because they lost a lot of their core guys. I actually have them early season predictions, not official though, going 10-7, 6 or 7 seed in the playoffs. Okay. Arizona, I think that Seattle's the only team that Arizona is going to be able to keep up with, if anything. But their biggest position of concern right now is the quarterback position. Even with Jacoby coming back and being at practice and getting going with the offense, they got Jeremiah Love in there now, which is going to be, I don't know. I do not see the Arizona Cardinals going from worst to first. I don't. So we got to put the stamp on the fact that the Arizona Cardinals are a no. Okay. The next team is the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, they went 3-14 as well, last in the AFC West. Now, here's the thing: is last year I had a lot of hope for the Las Vegas Raiders. I thought they were going to do a lot better than they did. But they had some troubles. They had a lot of troubles. What they did in this offseason, beefing up their defense the way they did. Yeah, there's still possibilities of Max Crosby getting traded. But if he doesn't, the Raiders, I think, have the opportunity to be a top 10 defense this year. As far as offense, they added some people to their offense, drafting Fernando Mendoza at number 1. I'm still kind of questionable on Fernando Mendoza personally. But the Raiders, I will say, have made some strides in this offseason. And the AFC West is such a toss-up right now. Not saying that it's not competitive. It is a competitive division. Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs. Raiders. Okay. You look at all those teams. I mean, the Chargers last year, they had a schedule where they could have possibly went 15-2, but they didn't take advantage of it. They had a bunch of injuries. A lot of bad things went the Chargers' way. Did a lot of bad things, the Chargers had to face. The Broncos, on the other hand, did a lot better than people thought they were going to do. The Chiefs, all their expectations went out the window. And then you had the Raiders where expectations went out the window as well. I think the Raiders have a huge opportunity to go from worst to first in the AFC West. So we're going to put the stamp of approval on the worst to first for the Las Vegas Raiders. At number 3, the Tennessee Titans went 3-14, finished last in the AFC South last year. I mean, the Titans, I'll say this. They made some additions to their team. Do I think the Titans could go out and win maybe 1 or 2, maybe at best 3 more games than they did last year? Yes. Do I see them going from worst to first in their division? That is an absolute no. Why? Because you have to go through the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, who are expected to pick up where they left off when Daniel Jones got injured last year. Okay. So I don't see, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who won the division last year, made it to the playoffs, got beat in the wild card round. Yeah, but they're going to have to compete with the Texans, Colts, and Jaguars, who, let's face it, yeah, the Jaguars, a little bit of inconsistency from Trevor Lawrence. CJ Stroud apparently is supposed to get back to where he was when he was a rookie. I'm going to put the stamp of a no with the Tennessee Titans going from worst to first. I don't see it. I don't see them going in and winning the South. I don't see them being a playoff team. I say at best 3 more wins than last year. At best. And I said it a couple weeks ago. It's going to take Cam Ward carrying this team. And you don't want to put him in that position. Sadly enough, I think he's going to be in that position this year. It's going to be mainly because of Cam Ward if they win at least 2 more games than they did last year and go 5-12. But the Tennessee Titans, no. Next team on the list, the New York Jets, who went 3-14, finishing in last place in the AFC East. This is a no. Automatically, it's the New York Jets. They have a lot of things they need to do to make their team better. They traded away arguably their best defensive back in Sauce Gardner last year. They had a good draft. I'll say that, going out and getting Casey Concepcion, and they had a good draft. They did. Oh no, KC went to KC went to the. Did he go to the Browns or the Jets? We gotta look. We're gonna look. I know he went to either the Browns or the Jets. One of the 2 teams. I'm gonna be wrong here. I think he went to the Browns. He went to the Browns. Okay, yeah. He didn't go to the Jets. My apologies. But the Jets didn't have a bad draft. But I do not see them going and outplaying the Buffalo Bills. I don't see them going and outplaying the New England Patriots. I don't see them going out and outplaying the Miami Dolphins. Even with the Miami Dolphins having Malik at quarterback, Miami does not have a bad-looking team. A lot of questions in Miami, but I think the Dolphins have a slightly better team than the Jets. So this is a definite no on the New York Jets going from worst to first in 2026. Next team on the list, the other New York team, the New York Giants, who went 4-13, finished in last place in the NFC East. This is another definite no, okay? Now, here's the thing, is you look at the New York Giants, and they got Cam Skattebo back, which is a great thing. That's good, because all the stuff that he said during the offseason, I can make more money streaming, I don't have to play football. That would have raised some eyebrows for me. That would have. If I was the New York Giants, I would definitely be relying on my other guys in my running back room. I would be. I would definitely be relying on the other guys in my running back room, like Devin Singletary, Tyrone Tracy. Definitely. Because when you have a running back who just got drafted, started off hot, got injured, and then goes out and starts streaming, I can make more money streaming? Come on now. That's a little rough. And you also got Jackson Dart, who, let's be honest, if he has not learned how to keep himself on the field from dealing with concussions, that's rough. That's why when they brought in Harbaugh, and you heard everybody, all these Giants fans, we're going to the playoffs. No, you're not. You are at best going to get 2 more wins this season, 6-11, maybe 7-10. You got a good defense. Brian Burns. I mean, there's talk about Kayvon Thibodeau being traded by week 1. Which, why you would trade Thibodeau, I have no freaking clue. That would be just like giving a team a good player, somebody that can help your defense. That would be a backstep, in my opinion. So the Giants get the stamp of a no from worst to first this season. Next team on our list is the Cleveland Browns. They went 5-12 in 2025. I'm going to say this. The Cleveland Browns, a lot of people are counting them out before things even get started. Okay? Now, Deshaun Watson is back. He's in a quarterback battle right now with Shedeur Sanders, where, let's be honest, this should be Shedeur's team. Went out and got Casey Concepcion. Built their offense and defense through free agency and in the draft. Yes, they traded away Myles Garrett, but they got Jared Verse, who's supposed to be the younger version of Myles Garrett. Okay, and I think Jared Verse can live up to the expectations. But you got to look at the other teams in the AFC North. The Steelers, the Ravens, the Bengals. I'm going to say no for the Browns, going from worst to first. But I will say this. I think Cleveland can make a hard stride to being a postseason team this year. Maybe 6 or 7 seed. Okay? But I got to put that stamp of no on the Cleveland Browns from worst to first. Next team on this list, the New Orleans Saints. The Saints finished 6-11 last year, was in the mix for the NFC South. But let's face it, every team in the NFC South was in the mix for the NFC South. The Panthers, Bucks, Saints, Falcons. Okay? Falcons missed it by 1 game, 2 games. Saints missed it by 3. Panthers outbeat the Buccaneers because of the Falcons winning or whatever. It was just a mess in the NFC South. I think the Panthers obviously win the NFC South this year. I think the Panthers got a little better this offseason to the point where I could see them going maybe 11-6. They win the division. Buccaneers losing Mike Evans, it's going to hurt them. I don't see the Buccaneers winning the division this year. New Orleans could be making a run for the division in the mix if things end up being the way they were last year, but I do not see them going from worst to first. So it's going to be a no on the New Orleans Saints. Last team, the Detroit Lions, who finished at 9-8, did not make the playoffs. The Packers made it in at 9-7-1. They had that tie, which they kind of account for a win, right? So that would be a 10-7 season in a sense. Packers for a third year in a row being the 7th seed in the playoffs. The Detroit Lions, I could see them making a huge stride to be from worst to first in their division this year. I could. The Vikings, if they go J.J. McCarthy, I don't think stand a chance. If they run with Kyler, though, I think that's Kyler Murray's team. I do. I think J.J. McCarthy's traded. I do. And I think Anthony Richardson comes into Minnesota. Okay. But I don't see the Vikings being the first place team this year. The Packers, I think, might take a small step back. Micah Parsons ain't going to be back till like week 7 as far as it's being concerned because he's already starting the season on the PUP list. That's at least a 4 to 8 week off. Seven, I think is the no. I think 7's the minimum. So he's biggest piece of their defense being out for 6-7 weeks of the season. Packers take a step back. Vikings don't do any better than they did last year. And the Chicago Bears, I mean, the Bears are kind of that unknown. They have a good team. They proved it last year. But they won a lot of close games. They even had to go to overtime, I think, a few times and win. Okay? So I think Detroit has the biggest opportunity out of any team on this list to go from first to worst, or worst to first. So I'll say yes on the Detroit Lions. So the only two teams that got the yes is the Lions and the Raiders. And then the Saints, Giants, Titans, Jets, Browns, and Cardinals all get the no. That is our worst to first opinion. Okay. But, so fun show planned for you guys on Sunday. Okay. I came across an article that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. So we are going to have a fun show on Sunday and expect it to be a little bit longer than an hour. Okay? Sunday is going to be a big show because of the segment that I've planned out. So we're probably going to be running way over 60 minutes on Sunday. Okay? So make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Podcast over on social media, on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Pod. And you're hitting that follow button over on the YouTube. You're hitting that subscribe button. That's how you follow on the YouTube. And over on Twitch, you're going to hit that follow button as well. All of our social media outlets are in the Twitch bio. You just click on the one you desire to go to. Help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. If you want to follow me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, X, and YouTube, MetalMike714, that's where you can find me. I don't do much personally on my social medias. I do stream once in a while. I do some Fortnite streaming and stuff. But other than that, I really don't do much streaming. But here on the show. So that's that. I'll be back at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Huddle Podcast on Sunday morning. Until then, guys, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. We'll see you guys Sunday morning. Until then, have a great rest of your week. Deuces.